What's going on, everybody? Happy Victory Tuesday. It is Tuesday evening, which means it's me and Bash talking Niners. We're actually talking about a victory this past weekend, which was nice. Wasn't the most, I would say, like for the Patriots being the team that we beat, they're not real good right now. So it's definitely one of those wins where it's like we should have beat them and killed them anyways, and we did. But I really don't want to draw too much from it. And I think that the game with the Cardinals will be a better barometer or a better test where the 49ers are. You agree, Bash?
Yeah, I mean the Patriots are a pretty solid defensive team, and for everybody labeled them as a very, very weak team. So I'm not gonna say they're terrible on all fronts. Obviously, their quarterback leaves a lot to be desired, and their offense in general. But it was good to know that we could move the ball on them on offense. And yeah, a game we should have won. There were some sloppy moments. I'll say it wasn't perfect, but they'll have plenty to look at in the film room and not get too over themselves, which I think is fine because we are Arizona Cardinals are a little bit of a tough team, I'd say. They're not going to be any slouches when they play us,
No.
division rivals. So we'll see how that plays out.
I'm always of the mindset that anytime you play a division game, you got to throw out what you're doing in that season, whether you're playing really well or not, because every division game always seems like it's kind of its own entity and it's its own beast. And of course, Kyler Murray can move. The Niners always struggle with guys that have the ability to run around and manipulate the pocket and essentially play backyard football. So, like I was excited we won. And I was happy that we beat the Patriots like we did. We drubbed them, but at the same time, I'm not overly confident yet that we've exercised all the demons that we still have. And there's plenty of them, from penalties to special teams to defensive lapses. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting because these next couple of weeks are really going to kind of test to see what kind of team this 49er team really is and if they're going to have a successful season. You got divisional games, you have the Chiefs, you have the Dallas Cowboys, who's another team that's struggling. So come back to us in about 4 weeks and me and you will probably be like, yeah, we're either going to make another playoff run or maybe this is a kind of a down year, Super Bowl hangover, all that stuff. But
you're still stuck on that, dude.
I am because this year
I
feels
don't feel
really
like
strange.
that. I don't feel like that at all.
This year
I know we have
doesn't
the
have
CMC
an.
injury.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
I know we have the CMC injury, but I don't feel that. I don't get that overall feeling about the team in general, though. I just don't. And I noticed a lot of people underperformed in these losses that we had. So I can name a lot of players who did, and I just think they'll be fine. And once the other games come up, and even if we were 4-0, I wouldn't be too high on the team either. I mean, I know it's still early in the season to get too up on a team, but as long as we came out of sure, I want it to be a 3-1, at the least in the first 4 weeks. But hey, we're 2-2. I mean, whatever. We can't change that, but at least we didn't have a losing record. We obviously lost 2 games that had the ball bounced a certain way, how we did things a little better. Could have won, would have, should. I get it. But I just still think that we can definitely be a playoff team. Now, if we sneak in as a wild card, that might be different, obviously. Raj has mentioned that a lot, obviously. He thinks that, maybe we'll do better with our backs against the wall. But yeah, I mean, I just think there's gonna be it's gonna be a fun season in general. We'll see how it plays out.
If they can somehow avoid any more real serious injuries, yeah, you're right. It's the season still isn't decided yet. I just think that these next what I was thinking before I streamed with you, that I was thinking this morning that I wanted to say to you was, do they have it within them again to put forth the effort of a really long season? Do they have it in them? Because last year everything went right for us injury wise. Even though our playoffs performances were not that great, like what we did to get to the playoffs was nothing short of dominance other than that 3-game slide. So do the Niners physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever, have it within them this year after another Super Bowl loss to make that run again, to fight through injuries, to do all that stuff? That's when I say this season feels different, because I don't know if they do.
Well, I mean, you got to look at the leadership of the team. Fred Warner, the leader on the defense, is playing like a madman. So that tells you a lot. Even the losses we had, he still played great, and that should get the defense up and the team up in general. And Brock Purdy, you could definitely call him a leader at this point in stage of his career, even though he's still a kid in many people's eyes. But he's always in great spirits, and he's always getting the team pumped up, and he tells people if they're doing something wrong, if they lined up wrong, or if they didn't block, or whatever, or if they dropped a pass, he's letting them know in the huddle, hey man, you got to do better. And so the leadership is definitely there. And even like, you can kind of call Kittle as a leader too. I mean, he looked pretty good coming back. I was like, well, he made the best. I might be jumping a little early in this, but in terms of talking about what the game was like, but in general, Kittle made the catch of his career, and his blocking just kind of sets the pace for the team in the run game, and it kind of tells the other guys, hey, I'm blocking my ass off. You guys got to do the same.
They looked more like the real Niners that we've seen over the last couple of years when they're clicking as far as offensively, like, blocking by your receivers and tight ends, and just the way that they dominate in the run game. So yeah, it was a good sign. I don't know exactly what you would rather talk about first. There's two like big points that me and you want to hit. One of them is the national media is kind of starting to change on the Brock Purdy stance, or would you rather talk about the Christian McCaffrey injury? It seems like every day we get a different update of exactly what's wrong with him, and it's never the same as the previous. So
We can cover CMC really, really quick. I mean, I'm not an injury expert,
no, I'm
but
not either.
when they announced it, I mean, Rogers, that guy. Even I had John V on earlier today, and his wife's a PT, just like our boy Rogers, and he was, John V was really narrowing it down too. He did a really good job actually. Yeah, it's not my field of expertise, but I just set the bar really low. And once they said he had to go to Germany for stem cell research, and at first I was thinking, Germany, why is he over there? And Roger was telling me, hey, well, the laws are different over there. They can do more things. They have more freedom. Whereas in America, the doctors can only do so much, and the NFL totally allows it. Kobe Bryant went to Germany as well, so it worked for him. So I set the bar low. Honestly, I was thinking, when they said November, I was like, okay, probably. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if they say does it December and he'll be ready for us, we'll be ready to use him when it comes to playoff time. He'll be ready full speed, and we're like super cautious with him. I'm perfectly fine with it. Obviously, I mean, sure, I'd love to have him earlier, but what are we gonna do? Now, if he's out for the whole season, that's gonna suck. But I don't know what other running backs are gonna try to pick up if need be. At the end of the day, we're still in pretty good hands with the running game, thank God. And so, I mean, it is what it is with CMC. I don't believe in jinxes and curses. I don't even know how he got hurt. I mean, what was it somewhere early in the mini camps or something? It's just so weird how it had all transpired.
Well, everyone, I mean, if you look at some of the tweets and stuff, people are like, he hasn't done anything since the Super Bowl, and he's still hurting. What's the
Well, duh.
problem?
I mean,
I would assume he did some
what were they expecting him to
off-season
do?
workouts,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
maybe he's just having some. I mean, let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. They overused him last year, straight up. Like
Yeah.
we talked about it at nauseum.
Mhm.
Like, mix in somebody else, who, regardless of who
For,
that is, and
for whatever,
unfortunately,
for whatever it is, Mason kind of pissed off Bobby Turner a bit last year. And Mason openly said that he wasn't jiving with Bobby Turner last year. He wasn't. Whenever Bobby Turner hit him up with questions in the film room, he seemed lost. And that probably goes to pass protections or where you need to be on certain plays. A lot of those things are very, very important. I understand when he runs the rock, he's very effective, and I do wish they would have given him the ball in certain key games, but at key moments. But it didn't happen. We barely saw him run the ball. But this time around, he's ready to go, man. He's looking really, really good. He's worked on his hands.
yeah.
Not that we need him to be CMC out of the backfield, but he almost had a receiving touchdown actually.
Are the 49ers to you like? Is it better for them to experience some trying times early in the season to kind of test the mettle of this team? A lot of people are saying like, oh, with all the injuries that we've been dealing with, and we've had to have people come in and play spot duty, that it actually helps with developing depth in the future when we start to actually like get into the, as they would say, the meat potatoes of the season, in the mid season where, guys are starting to fall apart and break down, and the bye week can't come soon enough. With just, we have, the injuries in the defensive line, linebackers, even in secondary. I mean, the whole secondary has got some stuff going on, but what's your take on like, what do they say, out of the frying pan into the fire, so to speak, with some of these players that have had to step in?
I do like it actually. I really do. We're actually finally playing some younger players that we normally
We are.
don't play. I could go down the line. Bernardo Green's finally getting some PT. Jacob
Yep.
Cowan got a bit more PT this time. I know he didn't really do too much, but I heard he was blocking pretty well on the running downs, which is good to hear. He's a small dude. Evan Anderson was playing the underactive free agent. He got a sack and a fumble. Forced a fumble. I'm trying to say Sam Okwa Yenonu. I'm reading it as
I know, bro. I was like,
that's
I'm gonna
the
let
hardest Niner name in the history of this team, by the way.
Well, because I'm trying to separate it and like, okay, I'm going to separate it, say it slowly, and then say it together. It's not like Tua Tagovailoa, where you can kind of say it if you slow your tongue down a
But
little
with
bit.
Tua, they say Tonga Vailoa, even though there's no N in there. It's like, well, where'd the N come from? Speaking of which, the Dolphins have been sucking lately, huh?
Yeah, my brother's my brother's
He's not
he's
happy.
just tired. He's just tired of it. He said that Mike McDaniels, when it comes to like being able to game plan or adjust, he can't adjust. He said every game plan's the same, no matter who the quarterback is, no matter what the injuries are. It's like he can't take what they have and change it according to personnel. He was talking about how like guys like Bill Belichick could see that, you know, we're not going to be able to throw the ball in this game, and we'll just run it all game, or we'll do this on defense. We'll change it up completely from anything this offense has seen all season. And he ends up having one of those games where, you know, the Patriots or the Giants back in the day had, you know, success or something. And he doesn't feel like the coach, Mike McDaniels, has that ability, or that even players respond to him anymore, to be honest with you. So that sucks, because they have a good roster. They just injuries and they just, their offensive line. You think the Niners offensive line is bad? Geez, dude.
I haven't watched their games. I just see their score lines and also the scores. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? These guys look like they suck. I mean, initially when Mike McDaniel first came there, I was scared. Like, damn, these guys are scary. They got speed at the wide receiver position, speed at the running back position. They got Mostert from us. Like, damn, these guys look dangerous. Tua was throwing all these deep bombs, and then I think we totally broke Tua and the Dolphins' soul when we beat them with Brock Purdy. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Bebop. I think a lot of people. Bebop. I think a lot of people are coming to that conclusion that Vic Fangio might have seen his better days as a D coordinator. The 3-4 doesn't work.
I had people that I knew that were just like, "Oh, bring Fangio back, bring Fangio back, bring Fangio." I'm like, "Why? We're built as a 4-3 defense right now for the past how many years? Like, bringing Fangio back would totally set us back, and it wouldn't be right. We don't have the personnel for
it's just people wanting to live in the past and be like, well, you weren't
I know
before.
all that Jim Harbaugh nostalgia is like, so as if Harbaugh won all these Super Bowls for us. It's so weird how people hate the living shit out of Shanahan, but they fucking look at Harbaugh like he's Bill Walsh. It's the weirdest thing. Dude.
We couldn't beat the Seahawks. So like, how would we that?
Exactly.
Like, it was a great team and we had a good roster, probably top 3 in the league, just kind of like now. But that team, just like this team, they didn't win the Super Bowl. So people like look with all this reverence and all this like about Harbaugh. Harbaugh was great, but he's not a long shelf life coach. His way of going about things, I can't. As a player, as an older guy now, as an older person now who's in his mid 40s, I don't respond well to people that are like peppy and super like pat you on the back and tell you some antidote about trying to make the day better. You know, all this like super mental Olympic stuff. Like I just rather have a boss that's like, this is how I want things. Please perform to this level. And blah blah blah. I'm not like the, you know, young players coming out of college. All that rah stuff works, but when you're like a 10, 12-year veteran, nobody wants to hear that mess, dude. Like I don't know. Maybe that's
he's always been a short-term coach. He's always been somebody who wears out his welcome. Not saying necessarily he did that in Michigan, so to speak, but I mean, look who he sticks to as his offensive coordinator. I hate to go off topic with this, but like he's still a Greg Roman guy. Greg Roman was garbage. I wanted him off our squad way back when Harbaugh was still there, and it's what it is. You know, I appreciate the good times that we had with Harbaugh. I get it, but it was a short run, and we've had just as much success with Kyle in more years, and we possibly will have more success and possibly win it all one day. I truly think that, especially since our quarterback that we have in place right now is way better than any quarterback that Harbaugh had. And if you want to talk about that, Brock, a little bit more, we're more than welcome.
Let's do it.
I could pop up the stat.
Yeah, you got some stats you want to pop out.
You can just go on about them really quick.
We talked off stream. I said I want to ask you something about Brock. the media's been pretty unforgiving on Brock and not giving him any credit. And I think ever since that game against the Rams, where he had to work with next to nothing, the dialogue is starting to change. And even I forgot what show I was watching, but people that are really not great sports commentators, they're players who just happen to be on a panel, are starting to kind of give that thing of like, maybe Brock Purdy, like maybe he's worth the money that they're about to pay him. So Emmanuel Ocho said something before we bring up the
Sure.
picture you
I'll
want to
bring
bring
it
up.
up whenever you're ready.
Emmanuel Ocho talked about how, I forgot. I just forgot what I was
Ocho.
going to say.
It's all good. I can put up the graphic now, and you'll
Go
probably
ahead.
remember it. Let me just put this up to the side. Oh, hang on. If I do this, no, you got to take that graphic down.
Let's take the brand off the
Yeah,
screen.
take the brand off, and we'll be good to go.
Oop.
Let me know when you did it.
There we go.
Okay, cool. There you go. All right, so we're just we could put ourselves to the side really quick. There you go. So I hope everybody can read it at home. I'm going to read it off really quick. So I put this up on my Instagram page, courtesy of CBS Sports. I put a little question to the side. The question that I raised was a question for 30% of our fan base. Do you still think he's not good enough to be our quarterback? And the reason why I bring that up, because since the start of last season, in terms of a 20-game span, Brock Purdy's been 14-6. Patrick Mahomes has been 14-6. Now, I'm not saying he's just as good as Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
For any dipshits out there who think I'm doing that, I'm just throwing out stats. 5,410 passing yards for Brock Purdy, 5,087 yards for Mahomes, 36 touchdowns for Brock Purdy, 33 for Patrick Mahomes, 13 interceptions for Brock Purdy, 19 for Mahomes, 111.3 passer rating for Brock Purdy, 92.1 for Mahomes, 9.6 yards per attempt on the passes, 7.1 yards per attempt. So that's a pretty damn impressive stat line for somebody who people thought Lance should have been the quarterback, and some people who are pissy about Brock Purdy being our quarterback and not Lance, and him not being elite and him not being athletic enough. I'm gonna put up something else in regards to that too. I'm not gonna play the video, so to speak, but basically it's Brock Purdy talking about his 10-yard split. We don't need to play the audio. It's just he's just saying that he was faster than Christian McCaffrey and Debo. But I do have these up to the side of it. I put some numbers together. It says they say he has no elite traits. What if I told you he's in the 98th percentile of the NFL in the 10-yard split, which is basically a 10-yard dash? His time was 1.55 at the NFL Combine, which was second best in the league out of all quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson's 1.54. And just for comparison's sake, Tyreek Hill's 10-yard split, a 10-yard dash, is 1.50. So really, really close to Brock. I mean, that's another thing. And one more thing about Brock, I'm gonna pull up really quick. I got a lot of stuff about Brock on my Instagram
Go ahead,
page.
man.
Yeah. So I put this up right here. It says legendary quarterback Brock Purdy has the highest passer rating over his first 25 career starts, more so than any other player in NFL history. 112.6 quarterback rating, right above Mahomes, 112.5. 106.2 number is Kurt Warner at number 3. So just as Mr. Irrelevant's pretty damn irrelevant. And one more stat line for Purdy, just to convince people that he's good enough to be our quarterback, because some people will still doubt it, I guess. I put Brock Purdy has the most games with a 130 quarterback passer rating in his first three seasons in the history of the NFL. Of all quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, he has more 130 plus rating games. So I think he's doing a pretty damn good job. And the future is really, really bright with Brock Purdy. We're really spoiled and really lucky, very fortunate to have Brock Purdy as our quarterback.
Yeah, and if people say, "Oh, you're trying to compare him to Mahomes," if Mahomes is the barometer of greatness in the league, and you want to compare your stats or you want to compare some things to him, nobody's saying that he's Mahomes, but he's not a check down merchant like a lot of people were saying that he was for the longest time. You have the Grant Cohns of the world and the people who are associated with him that just, they're stuck on the Trey Lance, athleticism and arm and all that stuff, but all that stuff doesn't always make the player. Sometimes
he runs
it's
so fast.
Yeah, he runs so fast. He's so
throws
mobile.
The ball really far.
He throws the ball really far.
Unfortunately, he can't connect to his receivers. So.
Yeah, he's not able to read a defense and go through his progressions fast enough and make decisions. It's more than just people are all about the aesthetic, the look, was talking to a Bills fan at work. He was leaving for the day. He's a giant Bills fan. I've known him a long time. I've worked with him almost 20 years, and on and off. I said, bro, I said, you're a Bills fan. I said, Purdy's like a micro machine version of Josh Allen, if you think about it. Like, he does everything. He can run, he can throw. He doesn't have the strong arm, he doesn't have the size, but he plays with as much bravery and courage and the leadership capabilities that a guy like Josh Allen has. But Josh Allen's always going to get the attention, and rightly so, because he's 6'5" and he weighs 230 plus pounds, and Brock's barely 6 foot and probably weighs a little over 200.
Probably 210.
So we get that. That's okay. That's fine. But it's funny that people, I'm not talking about Grant Cohn and YouTube and stuff. I'm talking about national media. The fact that they're starting to kind of change their tune a little bit, even a guy like Colin Cowherd, who is, just, you could say whatever you want about him.
He flip-flops a lot.
He kind of was giving him credit. He had somebody on his show that was giving him credit. So it doesn't really matter in the end, but it is nice to see that the young man is finally starting to change the mind of some people. Dude, I don't know about you, Bash, but it's been nice to watch football knowing our team actually has a quarterback on a week-to-week basis. We've worried about it for so many years, before, during the Garoppolo Lance era, and now all of a sudden it's almost like it's a distant memory. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just funny because Jimmy Garoppolo looked like a godsend because our team was so bad, and after he beat the Texans, it was like this is the second or third start. I drove off to the mall to buy Jimmy G's jersey out of excitement just because I thought it was the next big thing. But I mean, what Brock's done, what Jimmy's done compared to Brock is totally paled in comparison. I'm surprised I haven't bought his jersey. I mean, he's won so many meaningful games and putting up so many great stats, and the future is really bright for Purdy. That's why I was telling people in the offseason, like, I think this window that this team has is a bit more open than people think it is, and we've been doing pretty well with the drafts, and I'm pretty excited. And just to run by Purdy really quick, run some things down for the game. 288 yards. Now, if you watch the game, you thought he threw for like 350 because he connected on some deep shots downfield. We're talking Jennings, 45 yards down the field on a particular play. Debo, 53 yards. I believe the throw to Debo or Jennings was one of his longest throws in regards to air yards. It was really nice. The throw to Brandon Ayuk was fairly down the field and had a little bit of yak yards, so 38 yards on that one. But in general, man, I mean, Purdy was launching it down the field, man. He was taking shots. So sure that the efficiency wasn't as good, 15 for 27, but to say that he doesn't air it out and he's just a check down guy is just complete BS, dude.
Bebop says Purdy is Montana. Now I'm a Montana.
Monster. I thought it was Montana too.
I thought you said Montana.
I thought it was Montana too. Yeah.
Whatever. Montana, Monster.
Yeah, Montana's jumping way too far, but Monster,
if he gets paid this offseason, I will probably buy a legit Purdy jersey.
Oh, I forgot to mention. I just want to say that when he was escaping the pass rush, and if you want me to bring up the pass rush efficiency, I can a little bit.
Go ahead.
Or the pass blocking efficiency.
Go ahead.
A lot of it was because he was looking like Russell Wilson out there. He was doing some spin arounds. People were hitting him. He was bouncing off and doing. He had one play where it was going to be one of his greatest throws of all time. And when he launched it in the air, I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like, he ran to the right sideline and then launched at the very end. And all of a sudden it was almost a TD catch. I was like, whoa, there was actually a receiver there. I was like, dang. But he was really fun to watch.
Was that the drive that the 49ers scored 3 TDs but only got
I don't know. I got it.
It was like they got penalties on like 3 consecutive plays, I think.
And then Kittle made the catch of his life. And when Brock threw that one, I was like, what are you doing, man? Like, because it rainbowed in the air. It's kind of reminding me of Russell Wilson, where these crazy throw. And when I was watching the game, I was thinking, this guy's reminding me of Brett Favre too. Like, he's like, I don't know. It's really, really fun to watch. It's something we haven't seen in a Niner uniform in God knows how long.
His lack of super big arm strength, I think, is actually a plus when it comes to his accuracy. Because I think a lot of guys who have a gun like to overpower everything, and they lack in the touch game as far as being able to make touch throws. Montana didn't have a huge arm. He had a pretty good arm, but his short and intermediate throws were where he made his bread and butter through his career. Purdy, because I think of a lack of arm strength, all these throws, especially the one he made to Kittle, man, like that's a perfect throw.
Dude, that was crazy.
Perfect.
Three defenders. Three.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I saw it, I was like, okay, he stepped out of bounds, or the ball is going to come out, or the refs aren't going to give this one to us. And when they reviewed it, was a touchdown. I was like, oh, hot damn. Okay, I like that.
My brother came in. He's like, "That was a damn good throw." I was like,
yeah. That's surprising. He doesn't sit with you during the games, or
no, he was in his room. He was watching the game. I don't know if he had like multi screens on, but he usually watches the nine. I'm like the same with the Dolphins. I'll watch the Dolphins while he's watching it, but like with the multi screen. And yeah, he was like, he's like, he was pretty impressed. He keeps telling me, and I know you guys in the party were talking about a little bit about the Dolphins, but like my brother's like, you know what? You know the differences between our teams? You guys got a quarterback. And I was like, you know what? You're right. We do.
let me ask you this before I mention the offensive line and stuff like that. Where does he put Brock Purdy in terms of the respect that he should get, and where does he rank them in regards to like when we talk about like people 49er fans who don't like Purdy? Does he ever talk about that stuff, or
he thinks Purdy's up there in the top echelon of quarterbacks. We don't really discuss like where his place is right now in history and where he might rank in 49er lore or anything like that, but he definitely thinks that he deserves accolades, and he deserves, he's Jared's like, he's a good quarterback. He's proven it. Like, what else is there to prove? This whole thing where he's got to win with nobody around him. Like, what quarterback in the National Football League in the history of this game would you say, like, okay, I need to strip away all his players and then I'll get a better idea of how he
so
is?
dumb. When
like,
people
Aikman
say that
had Irvin, and he had Harper, and he had
best offensive line.
Yeah, he had one of the best offensive line in history. He had a really good fullback. He had Jay Novacek's tight end. Rice.
Yeah, he had everything.
Montana had Rice, Taylor. Young had Rice, Taylor, Brent Jones, Ricky Waters, all these guys. Peyton Manning had a bunch of players. Like, having players around you shouldn't automatically disqualify you if you're trying to make an argument about how good somebody is. But I think Brock, with people being out and that he's staying he's the constant. He keeps everything level. The one thing I love about Brock, Bash, is when you see him on the sideline, even when we're losing, he's never cursing at anybody. He's never slamming his helmet. He's not tearing guys a new ass.
He's very mature.
He just stays. He's totally even. He's a lot like Joe in that respect. I know people are like, oh, here we go again. Montana, you never saw Montana blowing up on people on the sidelines ever.
Nope.
Never happened.
Yep. Well, we saw Steve Young do it once against George Seifert when they took him out of the game.
Seifert deserved that.
Yeah. We were getting our asses handed to us in that game.
I was never a big fan of George Seifert. I'm a Bill Walsh guy all the way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thankful that we won 2 Super Bowls with Seifert, but it's a very interesting career because once he left the Niners, he was just like whatever with the Panthers, and that's a whole other story. I'm gonna talk about the O-line really quick, and
go ahead.
Yeah, it's just awesome to see Brock Purdy out there running around like a chicken with his head cut off, but making all the right moves. And he made the O-line look pretty good at points of time. The O-line, they did give up 6 pressures against the Patriots, 0 sacks. A lot of that was attributed to Brock, but 6 pressures isn't too bad. Two QB hits, 4 hurries. So I'm not going to slander the O-line that bad, but the PFF scores really quick. I'm going to give Dominic Pooney his flowers really quick because the top-rated player on offense from PFF was him, 85.8. And awesome. I don't know if you know this, but Dominic Pooney, I was about to say Brock Pooney. Dominic Pooney's 3rd in the NFL in pass blocking grade out of all offensive linemen in the NFL, not just rookies, all offensive. I'm really, really proud of this guy. I'm really glad, even though we didn't draft a big time tackle, I'm really happy that we got this guy. And on the list of all rookie offensive linemen, Purdy is grading out better than everybody drafted this year of all the rookie offensive linemen.
Robert 49er said it best. He says Pooney's doing better weekly. Like every week he gets better.
Purdy, it's Pooney.
Did I say Purdy?
I said Purdy. Pooney. All right. Trent Williams, 83.9 PFF score this week. Juwan Jennings, 83. Jennings has been awesome. Colton McKivitz, 82.1. I didn't feel like throwing anything at my TV. I didn't feel like cussing at my TV like I normally do when I watch the games when I see Colton McKivitz look like garbage. George Kittle, 80.3. Hopefully we can sustain this. Not saying I have ultimate faith in Colton McKivitz, but maybe because they said, hey, Spencer Burford's trying to play right tackle, and we're trying to prep him to play right tackle. Maybe that sparks something for McKivitz. Who knows? Spencer Burford.
It's not Buford, people. Get it right. Proper 49er says Colton needs to move his feet. No, Colton needs to not be the right tackle. Somebody else needs to be. But unfortunately, at least for this year, I think he's going to be the right tackle. I think we keep saying that every year, and it's like, they keep sticking with these guys that we hate. But I just want Brock to stay healthy. The offensive line hasn't been that great. A lot of people were talking about Brock having a run for his life during the game, and a lot of people are like, it's because the offensive line has been pretty bad. This offensive line needs to get better if we are going to make a deep run again, because we lost the Super Bowl once again this past February for the same reason we lost it the previous time, and that was Chris Jones just completely destroying our right guard, right tackle,
and where
center.
Spencer Burford acted like he wasn't there. If anybody just engaged with freaking Chris Jones for like a split second, touchdown, boom.
Sorry, I forgot to put my little banner on.
Okay. Yeah, I saw something pop up. Yeah, so it's so
yeah. Go ahead with your statistics that you want to talk about.
Oh, okay. Well, we can still talk about the offense unless assuming they did something. And then we can go to whenever you're ready. We'll go to defense. I don't know if you still want to cover the offense at all. So we're okay to jump to defense. All right. So what do we have for defense? We have the top 5 defensive PFF grades versus the Patriots, and you can go on and on about whatever these guys did because a lot of them looked really, really awesome. I get it. Weak team with subpar quarterback, but still, they did what they were supposed to do. Fred Warner, 96.6 PFF score. Nick Bosa, 92.5. Sam Okwuegbunam. I got to be very slow with that name.
I don't know. Good for you.
Surprise. Isaac Yiadom with an 81.8. And right below him, Diamador Lenore, 79.2.
Surprise.
Yeah. They did have Renardo Greed out there at points in time, which is good. I'm glad they're finally throwing their damn.
Yeah, the Niners had 6 sacks, a pick, and a pick 6 for a touchdown, and 2 forced fumbles in that game too.
D-line really stepped up. I didn't notice it during the game. I don't know if you did, but Evan Anderson, I think we've talked about him before, that big, like 6'3", 335-pound D tackle, undrafted free agent. He was doing some work, man. He actually put up some good numbers in this game. I didn't even know they activated him, but I believe he had actually Kevin Givens had 2.5 sacks.
Yeah, Kevin Givens played really well.
Malik Collins 1.5 sacks. I believe Evan Anderson had a sack as well, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to pull up he had a sack as well. And Bosa had a sack. I'm waiting to see Leonard Floyd do something. Maybe he had a little bit more pressures, but Yetur Gross-Matos and Leonard Floyd, they got to step up.
I think they'll start to they'll do some stuff. It's new team, new defense, and sometimes it's more difficult for guys. And it's I don't know, they're more of a spotlight now because they're with the 49ers. They're not on the Rams or the Bills where nobody really pays attention to them. We watch every single game, at least I do on Sunday Ticket and whatever. So like I've gotten to see a lot of things that if I only watched the box score or I watched haphazardly like Bills games, like I'll watch Bills games sometimes just because I like to see the Bills lose. But like I didn't pay attention to anything on the roster. So like, yeah, they just, the Niners have a certain level that they expect players to be at, and when they're not, it kind of stands out like a sore thumb. Real quick, we're talking about defense. 2 things that somebody posted on Twitter. They're like, if the Dolphins let go of Mike McDaniels and the Jets let go of Saleh, do they both make it to the 49ers as coordinators again in the future?
I wouldn't mind having Robert Saleh. I don't know how that would be kind of weird if that were to happen. I mean, we just brought in Sorensen. Unless Sorensen really, really stinks up the place.
Yeah, I'm not a big Sorensen fan yet.
Not a big fan yet, but yeah.
Sorensen hasn't really impressed me too much because he's got a lot of talent on this team and he's kind of underperformed. But
yeah, a lot of people forget that D'Amico and Robert Saleh didn't have great starts off the bat in their D coordinators' careers either with the Niners. So we'll see. Roger and I joked that Sorensen looks like a surfer, and I was like, yeah, he looked like he should have been in the movie on the North Shore.
The meth dealer.
Yeah, I know.
Him and Shanahan.
How would you know? How would you know?
I don't know. Just randomly. It's my idea what a meth guy
exactly. All right, I got it.
Well, there's some stuff out like where I live. There's some areas where if you go like into the boonies or the country, there's people that do that kind of stuff for real.
Oh, yeah. Everywhere,
and they look pretty ratty. Shanahan and Sorensen are kind of rocking the same haircut. Kyle's got a little bit of that It's like growing a little bit of a mini mullet back there. It seems to. Hey, listen, the Niners keep winning. I say keep the hair. Maybe if they lose, continue to lose, I say cut it off. But yeah, it looks kind of strange having that hair in the back because he's usually pretty. Uh, clean cut. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard of him for years. I just never knew what he looked like until we had him, and I barely knew what Staley looked like either. So it's kind of funny. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Go right.
What's up?
Yeah. If you want to jump over to Jordan Mason, be my guest.
Yeah, sure. Jordan Mason. I mean, we mentioned CMC earlier, and we did touch on Jordan Mason just a little bit that he's having a really nice season. But this past game, I mean, 24 carries, 123 yards, 1 TD, which was really nice. Longest run was 25 yards, and the thing is, it's like it wasn't like some people that pile up 123-yard games will have like a 60-yard run or something, and like he gets his yards in big chunks, which I like, which leads to easy first down. So
he gets good runs on first down too. He gets a lot of like 4 to 5 yard gains, sometimes even 6, which is impressive considering his overall size.
Yeah, some people liken him to Marshawn Lynch, and he does have some similar jump cut type abilities in the zone running scheme that do remind me of Marshawn. And not that he goes down easy, but to me, he's not the big time bruiser that Marshawn Lynch was. Marshawn Lynch would truck the fucking shit out of you. So getting spam call myself and get too many of those damn things lately, and I'm kind of looking funny again. Let me clear my camera up. Oh, it's rare that I get these. We were doing really, really good up until then. It's all good.
Yeah, because my internet, I cleaned up my internet, so
yeah, overall it's doing better.
I feel like it's StreamYard more than anything.
But remember early in the game when they ran Debo on that run and he just got rocked at the very end by Julius Peppers? I hate it. Was good that it was outside run. Okay, cool. Run Debo on the outside zones, get him in space, and lo and behold,
Julius, I think it's Jabril.
Oh, Jabril Pepper. Julius Peppers was the freaking defensive end. He was dope, man. He was sorry about that.
It was really good.
Thank you.
Okay. I do it all the time. You always correct me, so it's okay. It's just
it's all good.
evening it out.
I know. I know. One time I think when I was on Raj, I said Eli Harold instead of Leonard Floyd. I was like, "Oops, sorry. I don't want to bring that guy up again."
Yeah, like Eli Harold.
That guy sucks.
Those are the bad days, man. When we're talking about guys like Eli Harold and whatever, those are the not talented 49er days that I don't like to think about. Like,
yeah, we can go back to defense. We were talking about our linebacker Fred Warner, but another linebacker has rejoined the 49ers. If you want to talk about that,
yeah, Jalen Graham.
Let's go.
A lot of people were pissed off that he was let go before the season, including one of them being Bash, but he is now back. I know with the injury to Fred Warner and
Robin.
Everybody's day to day, they said, with the injuries. So, but it's nice to have some linebacker depth. We lost Curtis Robinson to a season-ending knee injury. So the Niners, I mean, with Tatum Bethune and D. Winters, and now with Jalen Graham, the Niners have pretty good linebacker depth. Most teams wish they could field as many good linebackers as the 49ers have. I would love to see
minus Devondre Campbell.
He sucks. He's really bad.
Yeah, I had to say it.
I would love to see D. Winters make his way into the starting lineup because I think Campbell's trash. He's bad.
I don't know how he was an All-Pro like 2-3 years ago. I don't know how that happened.
I think we just have a certain level of what we expect from our line. I mean, we're talking about Drake Greenlaw and Fred Warner.
Oh, I love Greenlaw. I miss him so much.
Those are two of the best in the league.
In my opinion, Greenlaw, I like Greenlaw better than Warner last year, but now Warner is just transforming himself.
We both did. I was all Greenlaw last year. I thought Warner had a step back kind of season last year.
I mean, it's kind of like Navarro Bowman.
Emotional.
It's kind of like Navarro Bowman and Willis, how they trade off 1 year, one guy would be better than the other. Do you remember that? They kind of trade off from time to time.
I like the intensity that Greenlaw brings. Greenlaw brings a little bit of nastiness and a little bit of like, this isn't a street or this isn't a choir boy team. This has got we got a little bit of what do you call? I'm trying to say this without sounding offensive, but we have a little bit of badass or a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying not to say certain words because it's going to sound bad, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, we have a little bit of street cred, is what I'm trying to say. When we had Greenlaw on the field, whereas Fred Warner, Fred Warner's a really good-looking guy. You know,
he's always smiling.
He's an eloquent speaker, and he's really good at football. And then there's Greenlaw, who just doesn't give a shit, and he just hits people, and he hits them late.
He's the Draymond Green of the 49ers, man.
He
Draymond
is.
Greenlaw.
And I think every team needs that sort of player. Sentinel says grit. Definitely grit.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say about the linebackers. It sucked because last week we were talking about how poor Devondre Campbell looked. I don't know why I'm glitching up again. It only happens when I call it the. But it's all good. I can handle it. Devondre Campbell sucked last year. Last week. We talked about that, and you said, "Why isn't Curtis Robinson out there?" And I was like, "Yes, that's a name that I totally forgot was Curtis Robinson." Like, okay, and lo and behold, a few days later, I don't know what happened. Like out for the season. Like, come on, man. Why do we get all these stupid injuries? And then I was so juiced when I found out. It was nice to see D Winters out there. D Winters himself had I forgot which running back it was, but he laid somebody out in this past game. Not sure if you caught that. Tatum Bethune was out there. He didn't look terrible. He looked okay. But yeah, for them to pick up Jalen Graham had himself a really, really nice camp from all the beat writers. That was the consensus. I was like, why are we cutting this guy and we're keeping DFF, dude? I know DFF's buddies with Fred Warner, but dude, I mean, Jalen Graham could possibly start for a lot of teams out there. And lo and behold, Adam Peters picks up Jalen Graham. And some way or another, the Commanders let him go. And we gave him a 1-year contract, and I'm really happy because I think we can do something with him and Winters in the future.
Yeah, the Niners, have they have an inability to draft certain positions. They just have trouble with it. And then there's other positions, kind of like running back and linebacker, where they just seem to have an ability to find either undrafted guys or guys in the draft that just can play really good within the scheme that they're in. They might not work in other schemes, but it's weird. The Niners can't draft an offensive tackle to save their life.
But it's only because we don't draft one. If we actually pick one,
we don't see it as a priority.
It's retarded.
The Niners look at defensive line and edge rusher as priority. The Niners look at linebacker as priority. So they're always going to be a lot of resources go into that. And then you have offensive tackle where they seem like they just don't give a damn, which is ridiculous because this is a Super Bowl caliber team and you don't want to have that kind of liability out there. But hey, I'm glad Graham is back. D Winters is in the building. Bethune is in the building. But Bethune, think about this. Niners suck ass in the early parts of the draft most of the time. But Tatum Bethune was what, a 7th rounder this year?
He was.
Juwan Jennings, a 7th rounder. Crazy people. It's crazy.
I forgot who was it that brought it up, but what if we just if we took our 1st and 2nd rounders and then traded back and just had a plethora of picks.
Yeah, let's go for a bunch of 4th round picks.
Bunch of 4th rounders, dude. And we probably hit on some future big time guys. It's just so weird how the draft works out for us in that regard. It sucks how we mess up on some of our 1st rounders, but or we don't. We gave up on so many 1st rounders too for that stupid Lance trade, which I definitely had my regrets of rooting on for that guy. He just wasn't it. Yeah, but I wish we'd actually draft tackles for Forrester. It'd be nice. We finally did draft a pretty talented guy, and Pooney, he's looking pretty damn good. It should send a message out to the team like, hey, when you draft guys high, Banks too. We did draft Banks high. When we draft guys high, now just draft a tackle. It's always some guard. It's always a guard. So yeah, eventually. Also another thing about the tackles. Trent Williams, man, some news about him today.
Yeah, says he doesn't want to retire anytime soon. Go ahead if you have the.
Yeah, it's not much. It's just I have his quote. I'll read it off to you in just a second. I'm not gonna put a picture, but I'll definitely read his quote. It's nice to know what he actually said. I'll quote him word for word on this one. So what he said was, I'm just going to enjoy the process. No, I'm going to just enjoy this process. Enjoy the ability to wake up and live a dream. Enjoy the ability to get out and play this child's game for a king's ransom. I don't want to think about the end. I just want to enjoy every minute of it. And then I saw one quote where he said something like, "We're very fortunate or very lucky to have Purdy on our side." I saw something where he said that. Maybe that's why he doesn't want to retire, because he's playing for a really nice quarterback.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have right now, having Purdy as a quarterback. It's not really a problem. I'm just saying it's quarterbacks are hard to find, Bash, and when you get them, you got to keep them.
And what about the jackasses saying that, they got rid of the wrong quarterback. They should have kept Sam Darnold. What about that BS that's been flown out there?
I'm sure there's a person out there that we both know that's probably stirring that argument up.
Well, one guy was a national guy. Oh,
it's a national guy?
Mm-hmm. I think he was on with Callard. It was right after we lost to the Vikings.
It's amazing how people live in this like short-term bubble where like they react to everything as it's happening instead of looking at the big picture. So like a guy has like 3 or 4 good games, but he's been a notoriously bad quarterback, and then all of a sudden he's the wrong quarterback to let go. And then Brock has a really good game in a loss, and then all of a sudden the narrative switches back saying Brock's really this. It's amazing, dude. It's like it's honestly uh, in the media. We always talk about on our YouTube channels how we want to try to present things as professional as possible and not just give out stupid takes and come off as like we don't know football. And then you see the national people do it constantly. And they're supposed to be the professionals, the people that do this for a living. And their takes are as bad as a guy that has a YouTube channel for like 3 days and just says, I'm going to say a bunch of dumb stuff on camera. We're all like, hey, let's not say the wrong thing. We don't want to stir the pot. And then you got
Mhm.
idiots on national television doing it. And it's like, maybe we should just be a-holes and just come out with like really outlandish takes too.
You almost think that maybe somebody behind the scenes of producers like, hey, we know you may think this way or feel this way, but we need you to say this and stir the pot so much to get everybody all riled up. I'm not trying to defend the hosts for being the way they are. I'm just saying
Right.
behind the scenes in production, you never know what can be said through people's ears. So that might be part of
It
it. I'm
is
just saying.
it is their job to make hot takes and give hot takes and be stupid and say just outlandish things. And that's their job. I understand that, but I don't know. I lose respect in credibility in guys that come out and just every other show they're speaking different nonsense about it. David McNiner. Colin Cowher's just mad that his daughter picked the wrong QB.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
sure
she
did.
did. She sure did.
She's still pissed over the fact that he used her and dumped her, and she's still pissed
Yeah,
off
I can
about
only
that.
imagine what went on between them two. I'm not even gonna get involved with that. Yeah.
I'm sure he could probably use some company. He's in Dallas. I mean, he's third string quarterbacks don't
Yeah.
really have too much to do. So,
I mean, he's a good
but
guy. I met both him and Brock on the same, within like 20 minutes of each other. I met both of them, and they're both really, really nice people.
you met Brock Purdy?
Yeah, I have a picture with them. Yep.
When?
At training camp last year. Hang on, I might be able to put it up on the screen. Let me if I can find it really quick. Hang on.
What?
Give
You
me a
never told
second.
me this.
Oh, I thought you saw the pictures. I had all the pictures on my
No.
social media. Okay, hang on. Give me a second. I'm scrolling through my Instagram as
You
we
guys
speak.
believe this crap?
Hang on,
What?
hang on. I'll show you everybody I met. Hang on. How about that?
See, me and 49ers Plus podcast, we live on the East Coast, right? So we were talking about like we
Mhm,
wouldn't pay the money to go to training camp because it's just outlandishly too expensive.
mhm.
And the fact that we live on the East Coast, and then we hear crap like this. I'm going to tell him tomorrow or when we have our show, because we're going to have a show on
Okay.
Saturday this week because he's busy. But I'm gonna like, you believe this crap?
I'm gonna cue it up. These are. I don't know. I was burning up in the sun that day. I was sweating, and they're not the most flattering pictures of me. Now I was heavier
That's
in those pictures than I am now. Did put on some weight a couple weeks ago, but that's another story. But let me show you the pictures I did take. If I can, I don't know if you see that. I gotta share the screen. I think on this one. Where am I? Okay, you can see that. Cool. We're to the
that's my
side.
guy right there.
Okay, well, let me
That's
just
my
throw it to the
guy right
side.
there.
Yeah, Fred Warner. You said that he's a smiley guy. He's super nice in person. That's the nicest. He was taking pictures with anybody who asked him. So that was really cool. And the next picture is with me and Talanoa Hufanga.
That's
Love,
awesome.
love me some Hufanga. Unfortunately, he
So do
sat
I.
out this last game, and hopefully he can come back and be the same guy he was. We'll see. I love him. There's me, Trey Lance, an infant Trey Lance, and myself, and there he is right there.
You need to learn how to smile, homie. Oh,
I
it's a
was
happy smile.
I was burning up in the sun, dude. Trust me, I was burning up that day. I just wasn't feeling good.
He looks like
There's
Anna Fry.
me, Brock, and myself right there, and with John Lynch, me and John Lynch.
Now
He
that
was,
I remember,
yeah, okay.
John Lynch makes us all look bad, Bash. Oh,
Jesse
Jesse
Sapolu,
Sapolo. Oh, that's
yeah.
cool.
I had to go up to Chris
Chris
Kocurek. I had to
Kasarek.
chop it up with him. He was super cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. And there's me with Wayne Breezy.
Look at that. Who's that? Is that?
The
I
guy in
know
the
who
back?
that is. Is that
Oh,
Jerry Lawler in the background?
it looks like him, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me and Breezy and hang on. I don't know why
John
this thing.
Chapman.
Hang on. Did it? Where'd it go?
Oh,
I went to John Chapman's page. I gotta scroll all the way back down. Give me a second. Sorry
see
about that.
guys. See
I
guys.
clicked. I clicked
Pretty
on his
entertaining
name
here.
for a quick second, and then it took me
Yeah,
away.
John Chapman. I've never seen John Chapman's been pretty animated recently on Twitter.
Here's me and Steve Young on the field.
Yeah,
with Brandon
Figurino or
Ferrigno.
Ferrigno.
Yeah.
Sorry,
There you go.
Brandon.
Okay.
I saw a picture of you and Raj, my boy Raj.
Oh yeah.
It is
I'll
Jerry
show that one
Lawler in the
too.
background. It has to be.
Yeah, so that's Breezy, is John Chapman, and
Jerry Lawler.
And with
Ted.
about 20 ounces of sunburn on his forehead. Poor guy.
Yeah, Ted don't look like that no more. Ted's been losing some weight and he's in great shape.
Oh, that's good. That's good, man. I lost a good amount of weight this year, but
look at that. There's my guy Raj.
I put some back on in the past couple of weeks, but not. I'm not.
Raj is
I'm
probably one of my favorite people in the content creator community.
Raj is super nice.
He's really a good guy.
I always feel like I'm his bodyguard whenever I am around him too.
I know.
Because I'm so much bigger than him, and then all these people want to talk to him. You know what I mean? But,
hey! Come on, Bebop! Don't say that, John.
Wait! What did Bebop say?
Says John Chapman needs a dermatologist. Oh boy, I probably shouldn't have put that on screen.
Oh, you can go back to the brand thing if you want. Sorry. There you go.
There we go. Come on. You guys are ridiculous.
I never thought of it that way.
It doesn't mean you type it.
I mean, the joke was there because you could see with all this white stuff on his face. It just looked kind of odd. It was very, very sunny and super hot that day. I live in Roseville where it's freaking. I don't know. It's weird because I guess I don't stay out in the sun all day, but still, like over here in Roseville, we're still getting degrees in the hundreds. 101 today. Tomorrow's gonna be 102.
Yeah, it's starting to drop here in the Northeast. We're getting into the daily 70s.
Yeah, when I was we're going to be 97, 98 all week long. Kind of sucks. We had the craziest extended summer. Records.
Some people tell me that you in California in the winter is actually a really nice place to live.
It is. The Bay Area, the weather is nicer than where I live. I'm like 90 minutes from the Bay Area, and unfortunately, it's a bit nicer out there than where I live. I'm more in the Sacramento area.
Yeah. Somebody just put up on the screen, or I put up on the screen, G-Rod's comment about BA being irrelevant, and I have the video. I played it yesterday's stream, and I want to play it again.
Oh, we didn't touch on Brandon Ayuk yet. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
well, I mentioned the long pass that he had. That was about it. Yeah.
Let's talk about Shortskate here. Let's
watch this video. Roger and I.
Yeah, let's go to Shortskate. Let's watch this again.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Audio. I never heard this. This is the airport. The jet airplane in the background. Where all the Shanahan's going. And the music that they play. What do you think he's saying to him? Aaron, you're muted.
Not sure what he's saying. I just all I know is Ayuk's body language just leaves a lot to be desired.
I never saw him before with the audio. That's interesting. I don't know where you got it. Here we go. This is where it gets fun. Shanahan walks away, gives you the mean, gives his hair. Good job, Shanahan. You gotta be a coach. Be buddy with these guys all you want. You gotta coach. Oh, he's gonna take it off. Really is. Come on now.
What a baby.
I'm gonna have to use my shorts. Get over yourself, bro. You're getting paid what, 28 million a year, 30 million a year? Jeez, dude.
Just having the reactions from Bebop.
I love saying that name, Bebop.
Sentinel Football Channel says, I've never seen Kyle the disciplinarian. I like it. Me and my brother were talking about that too. Me and my brother are, and I don't know if Bash, you think about how you think about it, but I'm very much of I love coaches that rip players. And sometimes they even do it on the podium. I just like old school because I feel like the players nowadays get coddled because they're rich and they're, they have big personalities, but they're also super sensitive, and you got to like coddle these guys. Where in the old days, like, you go on the podium and you have a coach just be like, yeah, he played horrible in the last game. He needs to get his head out of his ass, just like really go at a guy. Like the coach of the Titans when he was talking about think it was Will Levi's. He made some. He's like, yeah, he made the same mistake last week. Like he just pretty much put him on blast. I like that.
I mean, Jordan Mason himself went up to Kyle after the game. You know, he had a dope ass game, about 5 yards of carry, and 124 yards, and he was like, "Hey, Kyle, I'm sorry, man. I made a mistake here and there. I could have did better with this. I could have did better with this."
Fumbles, yeah.
Yeah, he had the fumbles, and then he also had them. He was making some wrong reads on the zone plays, on the toss plays. But other than that, he ran exceptionally well. He made some mistakes here and there. He wasn't perfect, but like Ayuk. Look, the players and the agents have a lot of leverage, especially if you're coming off an All-Pro season. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, we're paying him too much money. It's too much money." Like I know it's not my money, so I know not to complain too much. I know what the market dictates, so I get that. Now, my biggest complaint was it took too damn long. And then when I found out the offer on the table was the same one he took from 3 weeks prior, his ass should have been there 3 weeks when that was presented to him, and
so he
got
was the problem.
ready for the season. So I put that on him. He got what he signed up for. And he now it's just been his fucking training camp for the past 4 weeks, and he's looking a little bit better, but still not the real Ayuk. It's still not what we paid all that money for. And I was saying it last week, like when I was saying it during the game last week, like Jennings is balling the f out in this game against the Rams. Like, why didn't this wake up Ayuk during the second half of the game to be like, oh damn, this guy's upstaging me? Like, what do I gotta show and prove? Like, I'm the guy, I'm the man. Debo wasn't even there, dude. Now Debo came back and he did okay this past game, but it still wasn't the real Ayuk. And eventually, it's got to be the real Ayuk. It's put up or shut up. We gave you all that money.
Yeah, a lot of people say that those are weak takes, and they're like, "Oh, you're paying him, so now he needs to show up." Yeah, he does. He's making $30 million a year. That he might not. That he honestly, I don't think he deserves, because I don't think he's that big of a game changer. I said it in training camp. I said it in the offseason. You look what Brandon Ayuk does, and a lot of receivers can do the same thing. What does he do that separates him from other guys? And what does he do that makes sense for you to give him that amount of money? Nothing. He's a pretty good receiver. I think he's top 15.
Yeah, right now, I mean, he's looking like it. Some people were saying top 10 before the contract, and I could kind of say that, like maybe top 9 or around 9 or 8. But like I was saying before he had that contract, I was telling some people who are Niner fans, like, look, I honestly think a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown is a better wide receiver. Some people are like, no, Ayuk's better. No, Ayuk's better. I was like, I don't know, man. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's better. And if I were to choose between the two right now, I'd totally take Amon-Ra St. Brown. I really would.
Yeah.
And it's really sad that he's, again, I mentioned what's his name, Juwan Jennings. He's totally upstaging Brandon Ayuk right now. 364 yards. I mean, he's looking really good.
These two comments on here both go perfectly together. G-Rod says BA seems checked out, and then Sentinel says Jennings was elated to sign an extension with the Niners. He's making peanuts compared to BA. That kind of selflessness and appreciation for the opportunity to play for us is inspiring. 100%. 100%. Like, they're totally different. I hate BA's body language. And when they're interviewing him, he's...
Dude, when did I hate his body language the most? It was 2 days after we lost the Super Bowl. He's pouting and crying about himself not getting targeted enough, or himself not making enough money. Like, dude, the team just suffered a loss. Talk about the team. Don't talk about yourself, and don't pout and cry like a little baby.
Yeah.
And I've defended Ayuk so much. I love Ayuk so much. And when he got drafted, I was telling people, no, he's going to be good, because a friend of mine put me on to Ayuk about 3 months before the draft. I was like, no, this guy's pretty good. And people were like, who is this guy from Arizona State? We should have got this guy. We should have got that guy. Oh, no, watch. He's going to be good. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, I don't know. At this point in time, I mean, if he doesn't, and with the way Juwan Jennings has been playing and looking like a poor man's Brandon Marshall, I mean, this upcoming week, he better start balling out, dude. Seriously.
G-Rod, you made a point to say that Jefferson got paid is still doing his job. But Jefferson could fall out of bed and still be better than Ayuk. That's how good he is as a wide receiver.
Brett Jefferson, he's really badass. He really is. It's unfortunate.
He's top 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, my prediction is BA won't be the same. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know we were talking, we like to speak in reality on this channel, but the news that Devontae Adams and the Raiders, I guess, are seeking a trade for Devontae. A lot of people are like, how much money would the Niners need to eat in order to pick up Devontae? Guys, it's not going to happen.
Well,
as long as he doesn't go to the Chiefs, which that would be my fear, because if he does, he might as well hand them the trophy. Not that they are already not going to
Well,
get beat to
they might
by
run across some bad luck. I mean, a lot of teams get bad luck from time to time who are really, really
well, their
good.
own quarterback took out the guy that shouldn't have been playing to begin with, Rice. So
Yeah, they lost Rasheed Rice. Saw that. Yeah, I heard that if we were to get rid of Brandon Ayuk, there'd be tons of dead cap space. I was trying to pull it up in a second. John Chapman was saying that, and that doesn't surprise me because we gave him a gigantic contract.
King's ransom, baby.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to pull it up really quick. What the cap hit would be if we were to trade him? It might. So this year, the cap hit would be five. This year, the cap hit is. Oh, hang on. The dead money. I'm not sure. It says cap hit this year 5.7 million this year. The cap hit next year would be 11.1 million, and the dead cap money this year for Ayuk's contract, hang on, is 45 million. So I don't think we're trading this guy.
J-Rod says should have waited and snagged Devontae Adams. Dang it, right?
Not sure if the Raiders. I didn't see that name thrown around like the fans wanted it though. I didn't see it.
Because he's older and he doesn't have as much time left at the top.
Older, and he is from the Bay Area, which is cool, but older, and he just his new contract.
He would be so happy to play with a guy like Brock Purdy. They're saying Buffalo. That's a pretty dangerous connection. I'm going to tell you what, man. Josh Allen. The Bills might have had a bad game against Baltimore, but a lot of teams do when they go in that stadium. But Josh Allen's a damn good quarterback, and a guy like Devontae on that team would, yeah. My brother's like, we already, because the Dolphins are owned by the Bills. It's kind of like how before when we used to play the Rams, they could never beat us. Kind of similar thing. The Dolphins always beat themselves in those games. But
speaking of the Ravens, how did the Raiders beat the Baltimore Ravens? How does that even happen? The Raiders are so garbage.
It's a week-to-week league, Bash. You know that. Every time we think we got a team figured out, or we think our team is done. Like, remember the 3-game losing streak last year? And they're like, maybe the Niners aren't as good, or maybe Brock isn't as good as we think. And then they go on that huge run, and then Brock looks amazing again. So
yeah, I mean, I mentioned it like in the first 2 losses that we had. I was telling a lot of people like, look, sure, we have gigantic expectations for this team, but even if we had big expectations going into a season, regardless of how good we are that year and how well we finish up, if we're 12-5 or 13-4 or 11-6 or whatever the record would be. We always have that string of crappy games that we don't expect losses in. For whatever weird reason, the ball bounces a million different ways, and it just happens. And it's football, at the end of the day.
The Niners are definitely not the team that they've been, and they're going to be kind of ignored this year and maybe thought of as a team that's taken some steps back. Maybe in the end, that's what they need. Maybe them being at the top and being the golden goose that everybody's trying to go after is detrimental. Them being not in the driver's seat, but in the passengers, maybe it'll serve them right going forward.
Yeah, like Rod, like I mentioned here, Rod was saying if their backs were to the wall and we're a wild card team, maybe that might change things.
Right.
We're usually the top dog. Like, hey, look at these guys; they're so good.
We didn't play that great in the playoffs as the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
We almost got bounced in the divisional round.
Yeah,
and then we almost got crushed. We were down big to the freaking Lions. So,
they're fun games to watch. I mean, that's real football right there. Going back and forth.
It is real football. Yeah, let's talk about special teams and how bad it's been and
anything but special. Who is our special teams coach now? Because I'm forgetting who his name.
John Schneider.
Yeah,
John Schneider.
If any heads are ever going to roll, for example, had we lost to the damn Patriots, I just think that he would have been the first to go. So yeah, I mean, special teams are anything but special. Brian Schneider is his name. Second season.
Before I say John Schneider, I'm thinking of
I barely even knew who he was, dude. I just now know what he looks like. I pulled up his picture on my Google search, unfortunately. And who was that? We had this one black dude that was our special teams coordinator, maybe back in like 1997, 96. I think his name was George.
Exactly you're talking about.
Stewart. Was it
George Stewart? Yeah,
dude, he was
insane. I watched a game against the Cowboys when I don't know if they blocked a punt or they did something, and he was freaking chest bumping his players on the sideline.
He was so dope on the sideline. I love 1996 to 1999. He was our special teams coach. From 2000 to 2002, he was our wide receivers coach. Currently, he's an assistant head coach with the damn Chargers. I believe. I hate the Chargers. I hate seeing that. But I wish he was our special teams coordinator now. If you don't remember, man, like I
I
mentioned,
remember
it
him.
was. Yeah, I know you do. Maybe some other people don't. From 1996 to 1999, he was so fiery on the sidelines, getting everybody hyped up. He was dope, dude. And the special teams responded, man. It wasn't just like sometimes you think of Harbaugh as a rah-rah gang where it just sometimes, or even a single how Singletary was from time to time.
That was the Chuck Levy days.
Yeah. Chuck Levy was a nice return. I love Chuck Levy. I watched him in college too at Arizona State. He was a lot of fun to watch. Same school that Brian that you went to, by the way. Yeah, so I remember Brad Seeley was our assistant head coach that with the Harbaugh era, and he was our special teams coach. Like, and then the Tony Montana squad or something. We need some type of spark in our damn special teams. Something, man.
Well, I just think there's players on that special team that don't want to be on there. Some people, you have to embrace the suck. Sometimes you have to embrace that you're a special teamer, and that's how you're going to be in the. That's what's getting you into the NFL right now. And I don't know. I don't know if guys are. I don't know if guys buy into it. It doesn't seem like that. Whatever special teams coach we've had in recent memory, and we've had special teams issues for a while now. It's not just been this year, but it's previous years. I mean, from missed kicks to blocked kicks to bad punt and kickoff coverage to you know fakes being run on us. You name it, we've had it happen to us. It's
It's
though
not
that
fun.
and the lack of red zone. I have the statistics up here. Our
Yeah, the
red
red zone
zone issues.
efficiency. Oh, you took that down. Yeah, I was going to pull that up too, but it's good that you got it really quick.
49ers right
Um,
now. It says, where is it? Uh, God dang
yeah,
it.
we give up too many
49ers are
points on the field as a
19th in
late.
red zone. They're 19th.
Yeah, we did fix that.
Red zone and special teams right now should be the two focuses. I mean, we move the ball well. We're able to move the ball, with players banged up or whatnot. But it's the ability to score touchdowns instead of field goals is what's going to help us in the long run. And figuring out special teams, man, because I forgot who said it. He says that the 49ers don't really put as much importance on special teams than some other teams do, and it shows. Like it's not something that's a priority
They
that they
better they better
really.
fix it pretty soon. They better fix that.
Yeah, it's and Kyle's one of the guys that'll always he'll always downplay stuff that it's not that big of a deal and that we're overreacting. But I
Yeah.
don't know, man. We got to get it. We got to get it fixed. It's still only week 5 coming. Hopefully, Ricky Parasol is on his way back and gets a chance to get into the starting
Yeah,
lineup.
he was supposed to practice this week supposedly. They were trying to open. Oh, Clea Davis, a guy who I really like. Finally, he's
Yeah,
gonna come back. They said Wednesday he should be practicing, so possibly him and Ricky Pearsall should be back in the field. In the
yeah.
fold, that'd be cool. Sentinel, I wanted to read his little message right here. He said,
He
"I
would
would cut my pinky off right now if Koo and Moody switch teams." You're talking about Young Ho Koo.
Young Ho Koo.
It's actually Young Hui, but it's spelled as Young Ho, and I don't know why his parents did that to him. If it's Young Hui, spell it closer to the way it's pronounced, not this Young Ho crap. You know what you're doing to your child?
Young Ho, not an old ho, a young
Yeah,
ho.
I know, right? Is his sister Old Ho? I don't know.
I think we pretty much covered it, man. I think
Oh, we did. We've been on for a while. We covered a
we've been
lot.
on for over an hour. I think we pretty much covered it. Just looking ahead to the Cardinals, I think it's a team that we need to take very, very seriously because they're a team that we play
Division
twice a
rival.
year, a division opponent. Niners' biggest issue in this game is going to be containing Kyler
Kyler
Murray.
Murray. Yeah.
Yep. Kyler Murray needs to be contained. Niners
Put
defensive line
winners
needs
out
to
there.
play more discipline.
How about some 3 safety looks? That wouldn't be too bad.
Whatever they got to do.
If
And
Hufanga's gonna come back. Yeah.
I mean, you can score points on them. That's been evidently clear. So this game, I think, really is going to come down to the 49ers defense. If the 49ers defense could somehow corral this offense, then I think the Niners should have no problem beating them. If the Niners play defense like they played in the previous 2 games before we won, then it's going to be a shootout. So shootouts are always bad. Shootouts are always bad because then it's like it's a toss up. So, but anything else you want to share with your channel or anything going forward before we get out of here?
Gonna have be on with Raj. We do the dual stream on Fridays. Times are kind of up in the air because sometimes he has family stuff to deal with. But just I'll always announce it once him and I figure out what time it is. Usually we figure it out on Friday. I'll post it on my channel and say, hey, we're going live at this specific time. There's a few people that I've been talking to get on the channel. I just don't know exactly when I'm going to bring them on. There's for you Warrior fans out there, if you know who Cyrus Saz is. He's for Locked On Warriors. Actually, he was on Locked On Warriors. Something happened with that. He's got his own channel now. But he's a big 49er fan, actually. I've had him on my channel as a Warriors fan, and he's one of the top Warriors analysts on YouTube. And great guy, just the nicest guy. It's so cool. I love the guy. He's a big Niner fan, and I want to get him on to do some Niner talk. There's another guy, the guy that you know, Albert. I had some talks with him. Maybe next week I could try to get on. There's Kenny Culp that we're going to try to put on the show, and so definitely got some names. It's just more figuring out the days and times. And stay tuned. I'll put it on my community tab, and we'll have fun. You can go on my Instagram, you can go on my Twitter as well.
Yeah, we're gonna do. I'll be on Raj tomorrow, and then a set of Thursday with 49ers Plus podcast. He has some family obligations, so we'll be on Saturday. We'll do like a recap preview show. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you guys Saturday. Everybody who's been in here, like I said, it's been hard to get views on YouTube if your name isn't Cone, Hensley, or Naylor. So if you are here all the time, and your presence is definitely appreciated for me and for Bash, because we're both fighting the same uphill battle on YouTube. So everybody, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys later. Hopefully when we talk to you next time, it'll be a 3-2 record, and we'll be talking a 49ers victory. Take care, everyone.